Can catch up with Rece Davis, especially at this time of the year between game day and the CFP show, which we'll get to in a minute. But Rece, I want to start with game day, and a lot of weeks fans love your choice, not your choice, but the choice of College GameDay. Even though we've talked about your role in this, sometimes they hate it. It seems like this week everyone really liked it. Going to Jackson, Mississippi, Coach Prime and HBCU. Good afternoon. Tell us about this decision.
Well, we're really excited about it, Paul, and I think we kind of looked at, like we do a lot of weeks, where's the best story? Where's the compelling story? Where's the best scene going to be for the show? And it became pretty easy after you had a couple of upsets. I think certainly had Syracuse won, that would have been a viable option. Kansas State also. But we've had Jackson State on the radar all season and looking for the right opportunity to go there in a rivalry game, their last home game. The Boombox Classic between the two, and the fact that Dion has built a program there that has the best defense at the FCS level. They allow under 200 yards per game, and he's built something that has captured the interest of people, not just who follow HBCU college football, but at the upper echelons of college football. His name is constantly being bandied about. Will he get a job? Would he take a job? And all of those types of things, I think that make him fascinating and compelling. And I think the entire scene is going to be that way Saturday morning.
I know it's a 3-hour show. How much time can you allot to the interview with Coach Prime? He's pretty talkative.
Well, we're allotting it ample time. And we're really glad that he's decided to come on and be with us. We've tried to have him on before and things just haven't worked out. But fortunately, all working out this time. I think Desmond has already been to Jackson to spend a little time with him. Then he'll come and join us on the set, and we'll have a lot of flavor elements within that, while still, paying very close attention to the rest of the day in college football too. So it ought to be really fun. I'm fascinated to talk to him, Paul, because I want to find out, and he's not going to be able to answer the question I really want answered until or if he ever takes a Power 5 job. Is how does this dovetail with what you believe your mission is? And he's done wonderful things in impacting players and giving them opportunities to better themselves. And why he thinks he should or shouldn't, make a move from where he is, where he's being wildly successful. And anytime you're wildly successful and you have the charisma and the knowledge and everything that goes along with being Deion Sanders, you're an attractive coaching candidate. And I think he is for a lot of schools at the FBS level and even at the Power 5 level.
With Rece, let's talk about the CFP rankings. I know you did the show last night looking ahead to next Tuesday night, and there are a couple of games this week that could impact that, especially in the Big Ten. But as you digest all the information, help us better understand where do you think we are right now before that committee goes into the room over the weekend.
I think there are some things that are pretty clear cut. I mean, the SEC champion obviously is going to go, but I think that I heard McElroy talking earlier that a week ago the possibility of 4 SEC teams being in the mix. I still believe that Tennessee has the clearest path. That doesn't mean that I think they're automatically in, but I think they have 3 very viable paths that would make them a strong contender. Stone cold lock if they win out and win the SEC, obviously. If they were to get to the championship game and lose, they would still have a really compelling case because in all likelihood, they would have already beaten the team that just beat them. And even should they lose a close game to Georgia, I think they would have a really compelling argument. Now, the caveat here is this. If TCU and Clemson both were to go undefeated, and then you'll have one from the Big Ten, one from the SEC, and those 2 teams would make it if that happens. Even though I think TCU is really good, I think the Big 12 is probably too balanced and too full of peril for them to make it through unscathed. But, we were talking 3 and even the wild possibility of 4 SEC teams last week. And now it's not a crazy scenario to say that there could be 2 one-loss SEC teams sitting on the outside and left out. I don't think that's likely. Let me emphasize that. I don't think that's likely, but there is a path, and it's certainly possible.
In terms of Clemson, is it pretty cut and dried from where you sit, if they run the table in the ACC, they're going to punch a ticket?
I think it'd be hard to leave him out, Paul. I understand what you're saying. I mean, they're not going to have anything on that resume that is overwhelming. Even though, Wake Forest is a top 10 team at the moment. It's a top 10 win, a good win. That's a really good team. But nothing that really blows you away. I understand that. And, they don't always look the part on offense up to this point. But if I just have a hard time believing if they don't lose any games, that they would be left out in favor of, even a one-loss SEC team. I guess it could happen. I do think this: if both TCU and Clemson are undefeated, I would give TCU the nod based on schedule and based on accomplishment. Now, if you want to sit there and say, "I hear you, but I think Clemson's better," okay, because that's why we have a committee and why I like the committee for some football judgment in it. But as it pertains to resume, I think TCU's resume would clearly be better. I mean, a whole month of football to play, a lot of opportunities for upsets. You're showing the schedule right now at Texas, at Baylor, even at West Virginia, who they should overwhelm, but they're coming off a stretch of 4 really emotional, intense games, and they're going in against a team that's, just been terrible on defense the last couple of weeks and probably has been challenged. So I think it's unlikely that TCU gets there. But if they do, I would rank them ahead of Clemson almost certainly.
And I'm sure the questions have been asked and will continue to be, but you have the scenario that, you could have Tennessee losing at the number 1 team in the country next week and sitting out, and then you can flip it any way you want with Michigan maybe losing at the number 2 team in Ohio State, and that's really going to be dicey though if Clemson takes a spot, and I don't know, and depending on TCU, it's going to be, I think, perhaps one of the most difficult choices ever, don't you?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.